I think we're live. We're live, everyone. Yes, we are. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new stream, and that is right. We are live on this beautiful March 25th, 2024, and today we are joined by Mr. Tyrone, like usual.
Yeah, what's up?
And actually, another different person for once, Trump 2024 enjoyer.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Yes, totally. It's totally morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Oh, good
Good
lord.
morning.
But yeah, so today, I want to do a stream on what's happened in the 2024 election, what's happening in New York. Recent polling data out of, I think, was it Harvard or, right? Harvard-Harris? They had Trump's favorability the highest in a while. There's a lot to talk about, but first, before we continue with today's stream, I hope you enjoy these streams. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below. And of course, join the channel today. Like Tyrone says, it's just $1 a month. Like,
Literally $1 a month. You should join the channel.
are you okay?
Yeah.
He's tweaking.
Yeah, he's tweaking. I just heard like, oh, it's like, are you okay over there? Are you okay, sir?
Sir, are you okay?
I don't know. All right, so we had a lot of news out of New York tonight. We had a lot of news out of some polling data, and I wanted to talk about. Should we talk about New York first? What happened there?
Yeah, let's talk about New York.
Okay,
first.
so Trump got a massive court win today. Now, to be clear, this doesn't mean he has to pay $0 in the bond, but his bond has been reduced to $175 million. Also, before I forget, of course, I forgot to mention one thing. If you want your questions, concerns, comments, or whatever answered, the best way to send a super chat via the chat. Again, I'll try to read through as much chat as possible, but usually super chats are the best way to get questions answered. So, forgot to mention that, but either way, the New York stuff was a pretty big win for Trump. Now, from the get-go, I had this feeling that he was never going to pay, what was it, $450 million? Was that the original?
Somewhere in that ballpark. You're right. It's
Yeah.
somewhere in that ballpark.
I mean,
It was an absolutely unreasonable one. That they did just to, like, try and do Le Funion.
yeah, it's like, oh, Orange Man bad, but like, people gotta understand that, doesn't the 8th Amendment apply here? Or which amendment is that, the 6th? I'm gonna brain
Fuck,
fart.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, the 6th Amendment, that deals with, no more unnecessary,
Cruel and unusual punishment.
yeah. So, it's one of those things where, yeah, 8th Amendment, excuse me. But yeah, 8th Amendment, you cannot have excessive bail. And that was what was happening. I mean, $450 million? What's Trump's net worth before the Truth Social stuff?
You're telling me that you're telling me that the people who don't care about the integrity of the Constitution are using unconstitutional means of punishing the person they stole the election from?
Okay, dude, you gotta chill out.
We could say these things now.
Well, no, I'm not. YouTube, I still have no opinion on that. Just YouTube was a joke.
It was all safe and secure. You are wrong.
So not gonna say anything. But yeah, so the 8th Amendment clearly says you cannot have excessive bail. I mean, $450 million. What's the highest bond ever? Was this like the 3rd highest ever or something crazy? It was like some record. I mean, I think the largest was $1 billion. But either way, it's like, why did anyone think this was a good idea? I mean, I don't care if it was Trump, it was Bloomberg, it doesn't really matter. I mean, why would anyone set a bond at $450 million for a crime that has no victims? And funny enough, the one time there's a victimless crime, Democrats suddenly don't care. Remember that? They said, oh, well, there's victimless crimes, they should not be punished for it. It's like, yeah, who's the victim here? I don't know.
Donald Trump is the victim.
Yeah, he's the victim. Prince and Writer for 5. I disagree that RFK will be on every ballot. If he was going to be, he wouldn't be considered to be the Libertarian nominee. He's not going to be the Libertarian nominee. He's going to be on the ballot in, I would say, basically every state. There might be one or two that he might not be on, but I think overall we will see RFK in the ballot in most states, which helps Trump. In most circumstances, RFK does hurt Biden more than Trump. Now, will that continue? And will that even matter come this fall? I don't know. Low energy rap. I'm just a little bit sick right now. I'm a little bit low energy. I'm kind of sick, but either way, we do got the good news out of New York. Bail went down to 175 million, and I believe Trump said he's going to pay for it, right? I think he said in an interview that he's paying in cash.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So Trump was never going to have this bond. Everyone should have known that there's no way the higher courts were going to allow that. I mean, 175 million itself is large, but you can't have $464 million judgment when Trump's net worth is what? 2 billion?
Nothing ever happens.
Nothing ever happens. Polite rude guy for 5. Made 12,000 Trump's company, still holding. Trump won 2020, by the way. If you takes you down, let's sue. Well, not gonna happen. You could think Trump won 2020. I'm still like, I have my own opinions on it, but I don't really say it here. So
We're not allowed to say.
yeah, YouTube. Well, they
The election was stolen.
stop, Tyrone. You're on the freaking.
You're on thin ice, buddy.
You're on thin ice. But no,
You're on thin ice, buckaroo.
you could say that there's stuff with the election, but I don't know how far it went, but yeah. When 175 million is a better deal, you still know it's still a ridiculous situation. Yeah, I think wasn't some guy like 20 years ago in New York? Didn't he scam like a bunch of people and only had to pay like $10 million or something? I mean, this is insane that it's still 175 million, but that's more reasonable compared to 460 million. Because the problem was no bond company was ever gonna put up that. I mean, but think about that. $450 million.
Yeah.
It
It is still highway robbery at 175 million, but at least it's not going to completely annihilate Trump's finances.
Well, the good news with Trump is now he has the Truth Social going public. That's going to give him, I think, $2 billion extra, so he's fine now. But it was just like, okay, where are they going to start seizing assets? I guess not, because the court said they get 10 days to find the money, and I guess Trump said he's already got the money. So he must have realized that, yeah, he had the money, but he was not going to fork it over, because why would you? The higher courts were never going to allow that. So what's the point? But
well, I mean, we all know that Trump's going to get help from Fetus Gretzky.
What? What did you say?
Fetus Gretzky, you know of what I speak.
Oh, good lord. Let's see. Sorry for missing your Louisiana stream on Saturday. I was watching Dune with my family for my birthday and completely forgot about the stream. Oh, that's fine. That's
Happy birthday, nerd.
Wait, what?
Happy birthday,
yeah,
nerd.
Happy birthday. Again, you missed the stream, whatever. It's not the end of the world. But, yeah, so Trump's finances should be fine. Unless he starts seizing his assets, which, would they at this point? I don't think they can. If the court's at 150 million. I don't know. His lawyers noted in a court filings that bond companies typically require collateral of approximately 120% of the amount of judgment, which in that case would total to about 550 million. So this 450 million was actually 550 million. That's why there's no way he was going to pay that. It's still insane, but better. It's going to be like, what? 180 million if you include the rate they take. So either way, it was a pretty good move by Trump to get this appealed. But I don't know what to say. Any last thoughts on the court stuff? Hopefully it's over. Well, it's not over,
yeah.
but
The court stuff. Well, it's not over. It was always designed. The court stuff was first and foremost always designed to try and get Trump disqualified, so that someone like Haley could stick it out long enough to usurp the nomination. But as the court stuff fell apart, and then basically Haley gave up, it's like all they can really do is try to rob Trump as much money as he can that he could put in his campaign, and where we already talked about how it's a cruel and unusual punishment with like overfighting. So
yeah,
I don't really have many thoughts on it. It literally just comes down to the fact that it's like, oh, that was the last serious thing they could have done against Trump, but short of like an attempt on his life.
Yeah, that at this point in time, that the court stuff's all falling apart. The Supreme Court's going to get involved now. The bond stuff, I mean, that's a big win for Trump. I mean, that's what? That's a quarter of what he had to pay I mean, that's a big difference, especially when you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. And then you get
Hundreds
people,
of millions of dollars.
and then you get like the Democrats all saying that, oh, the courts are, there's a two-tiered system in favor of Trump. Think about that for a second. Trump still has to pay 170 million, but still it's somehow a two-tiered system? What? I mean, this is insane that these people actually think that, oh no, actually Trump, the courts actually love Trump. They're doing a favor for him. I don't know. But this was kind of the last Hail Mary for this attempt to stop Trump through the courts. I do think there is the other New York case, right? There's like one more. There is the DC stuff, which is I think is dead right now. The Florida stuff may not even go to trial this year. Either way, a lot of the court stuff, it's falling apart.
None of the like actual electoral like none of the cases regarding like what happened electorally are even going to be heard until after the election.
Yeah, so it's like this was
the earliest one I can think of is like March of next year. If I remember correctly, the Georgia one's March of next year, where it's like, well, Trump's already going to be in office for 2 months by then, and he's going to have the fucking, presidential.
DOJ.
Yeah, he's going to have the DOJ and all that other shit. He's also going to be fucking immune to like half that shit.
Well, that's going to be
he pardon himself. He's going to pardon himself.
I think so. He might, because I think the Supreme Court's still going to say like the presidency has some protections, because they just have to. You can't allow some prosecutor that hates the president to just, oh, well, if you don't do what I say, we're going to prosecute you. I'm going to blackmail you. You just can't have that. So hopefully the Supreme Court does step in. I think they are going to decide on that case with presidential immunity. But hopefully they decide right, because it's not a good idea to allow these prosecutors to, oh yes, I can effectively become the dictator of America by threatening the president legally. Surely that can't go bad. Prince Writer for 2. For RNC chair, Ronna joined NBC, by the way, lol. Yeah, I saw that. Didn't she just admit that she wasn't a Republican or something?
Yeah.
She went on NBC and said, so I was the RNC chair, but I was never that conservative. So why the hell were you the chair of the Republican Party? I mean,
infiltrators.
I mean, the reason she's the chair is the same fucking reason that she got in. Romney money.
Well, plus, people were gonna, because I think Trump fell for that scam of, oh, well, she helped them win Michigan, which that wasn't the case. So, polite rude guy for 5. We should make a constitutional amendment to give Trump back the 4 years they rigged from him in 2020. Okay. I still have my opinions on 2020, but no, that's a horrible idea. Because you're just not, it's just going to cause a can of worms of like, okay, what does that apply to then? Who does it not apply to? I would just say 2020, it happened, just move on from it. At some point, you just have to. You can have your opinions on it, but we're almost at the 2024 election. I mean, we've already got the nominations. The conventions are in like 3 months. You just got to move on from it at some point. Trump will be president again soon. It's coming. Be patient. Yeah, so should we talk about that? The recent polling out of, I think it's Harvard Harris?
Yeah.
So this is a surprise. This is the polling aggregate from The Hill, and they have Trump's favorability at 47%, the highest it's been since October of last year. And you can even look back at 538. Favorability, let's see here. Donald Trump, let's see. Yeah, Trump's favorability is the best it's been in years. Not approval, favorability. Now, what I do want to know, what's causing this? What is causing this sudden surge of Trump's, like, not necessarily his approval, because people like his policy, but his favorability. Like, hey, people like Trump personally more than they did back in, say, 2016.
I think that Trump is drawing a stark contrast between himself and Biden. And he's also, because people are comparing Biden's economy and his immigration crisis with the stability that people knew through most of Trump's first term. And that's why, like, you often get this nostalgia factor, not just for people like Trump, but for other incumbents. And you'll notice, like, throughout history, incumbents tend to become more favorably viewed as time goes on. Like, you'll probably find a lot of Democrats that will have very fond views of people like Reagan or George Bush, but because of the recency factor, you're not going to see it as much with Trump, but it's starting to grow.
Yeah, I think also because Trump, he's becoming like this icon of the 2010s and 2020s. You know, like Obama was from 2008 to 2016. Now it's Trump. This is the era of Trump, the Orange Man. And a lot of people are starting to realize that, hey, the media narratives around the guy, complete fiction. You know, it's like people are starting to also realize that, or people are just starting to get tired of the Trump, the Orange Man bad stuff. It's just not working anymore. I think we've reached the point of, okay,
I think people are going Orange Man not so bad because gas was cheap.
yeah. Not only that, but their jobs didn't suck. According to Biden, though, oh, we have the greatest economy in the history of the world. I mean, it just, when you have stuff like that, and you look back at 2019 and 2018, what the economy was like before COVID, the Trump economy was statistically
Before the fraud.
stop.
Oh, come on, it was kind of funny.
But either way, it's like there's a clear contrast. And now you have the government going after their political opponents, like Trump. They're making him a martyr. So you just combine all of this and you're seeing Trump's favorability. It's not going to be I highly doubt it goes above 50. But his numbers have gotten the best
I
years.
mean, hey,
never
say never.
In that same poll, they actually they did a hindsight approval poll on Trump's presidency, and I believe it was 55-43 approve.
I did see that. Which, to be fair, though, that's kind of misleading because Trump's approval was always at like 51%. Like, according to exit polling, it was 50% in 2020. So, it's always been higher, but his personal favorability, that means like they like Trump the man, not the policy, but the man himself. Printer writer for 5. From what I've heard, the Supreme Court rules some protections for the president that kicked the rest of the lower courts, trying to delay until after November 8th. Yeah, they're gonna do that, I think.
Makes no sense. I think like the big difference is that in 2020, people were looking for a man with like decency and empathy, or at least like in their mind, what would be considered decency and empathy. And now that they got that, and it turned out that Biden's just a weak piece of shit.
Yeah,
it's now there's
who's caused our country to have fucking blunder after blunder with like Afghanistan, Ukraine, Taiwan.
Yeah, people are now looking at Trump favorably because he's an image of strength, kind of like what you were saying.
Well, also I think he's running as the candidate of change, like he was in 2016 and Obama in 2008. Trump is a change candidate here, and people are just sick and tired of what's happening. And they know if Trump's reelected, he has nothing to lose. He can actually bring change, and most people think that change is for good.
Yeah, and he can also set it up so that whoever his successor is going to be, whether it be Ben Carson or Lee Zeldin or whatever you have it be, could just absolutely wreck shop.
Yeah. Gateway Politics has been a member for 12 months. I feel very confident Trump's chances in November, but we mustn't allow confidence to translate to complacency. Get out and vote. I agree. But I think we've reached a point now that people are just sick of what the Biden administration's become. They're just tired of it. And
yeah, I miss my $1.69 gas. Yeah. Thank you.
But just like every day, it's just excuse after excuse after excuse. It's like now they're like, do you see what's happened with Israel? How they're basically giving them the middle finger. I mean, you could say what you want about Israel and stuff, but the way the Biden administration has handled that is pathetic. Just say, oh, we've been your ally for 50 years, but we're going to just do a complete 180 on you guys because the polling said so. And they lie about it. They immediately say, no, we're making our decisions because of foreign policy, not because of polling. It's like, yeah, right. You saw what happened in Michigan and wanted to reverse course on that. Prince Writer for 2. Biden campaigns is acting like Trump is the incumbent. I've noticed that. They make it sound like Orange Man is the president. Like, oh, the bad man is back. He's trying to destroy America. He's trying to be a dictator. It's like, he's not even the president.
The bad man is back. Big news. Big news. The bad man is back, guys.
Dustin Carter for 2. What would be some immediate things post-Trump win? You mean like, what would happen? I think there'd be riots. Like worse than 2020. I think we do see the reverse January 6th happen if Trump wins. But this time they push the same stuff. I think it's going to happen.
Epic. That would not be wholesome, Chungus, of them to do.
Oh, good
You
lord.
can't
The
like
brain rot.
overthrow.
The brain
You
rot.
can't overthrow the government, bro. That's like mean.
But no, I'm starting to wonder. It's like they're running out of options. What are they going to do after Trump if Trump wins? Which I think he's in a very good situation to win right now. What are they going to do?
I think they're gonna shit themselves, figuratively, not literally. But like, I do think that they're just gonna go try everything at once.
I read an article recently that says they're actually preparing tons of lawyers and attorneys in the event that MAGA tries to quote unquote steal the election.
That's a sign that they're going to.
They're already planning for it.
That's why the RNC was smart to say we're gonna have lawyers everywhere. Like every county, every state, we're gonna have lawyers everywhere. No, screw it. You gotta have that because Democrats. That's the only thing they got left. Lawfare. That's the only thing they have left.
And unfortunately, they have a lot of control over the courts. But that's why it's imperative that Trump not only wins, but he has to completely blow Biden out. Yeah. It can't be a close election.
American Hill Politics for 2. Thoughts on the strength of the New York break case. Everyone, even Christie said that was a garbage case. So it's not a strong case. But yeah, I do agree that they're going to try to do everything they can. Which, funny how they reacted after 2020. But they're going to just, if Trump wins by, say, yeah, like you said, like, let's say he gets the same map as 2016. You know
what? No, let's say 2016 plus Nevada, potentially minus Arizona. No, actually, we're keeping Arizona. Yeah, so 2016 plus Arizona.
Let's just say that happens. Well, let's just say that happens. Democrats are going to do everything they freaking can to, like, say that Trump's ineligible. He's an insurrectionist. He can't serve. They're going to try. But it's one of those things where I think that they're going to get blown out for a modern election. That they just have no way of pulling something like that. French writer for 2. It's going to be 2001, but in every battleground. I could see it. I think there'll be a lot of riots if Trump wins. TexRest 98 for 2. Thoughts on Star Wars The Bad Batch. I haven't watched past season 1. So, can't really say anything about it.
It's mid.
But yeah, I just do wonder, do if Trump wins, are they going to try to, say that the electors, it's up to the state or something? The same arguments that was used in 2020?
I don't know, man, but I genuinely think they're going to, the partisan Dems are going to kick and scream over it because they've been told that Trump is the second coming of Adolf Hitler for the last 4 years.
Yeah, more like 8 years, but either way, we're getting to that point now where when you have Democrats saying we are prepared to stop the MAGA steal, when they start saying that, that's a sign they are probably not confident, I would say. Why would you publicly admit that?
Yeah, they're going to start pumping the foreign interference playbook again. It'll be ironic because Putin already said he endorses Biden.
Yeah, because, again, Biden he's a joke. These world leaders, look at Mexico. Mexico is ran by the cartels, but we're bending over backwards for the Mexican president. That's pathetic. We're giving everything they want.
AMLO's a total fucking piece of shit.
Well, yeah, I know, but he's making Biden's, what? I don't get it.
Hey, Rap, somebody wants us to talk about the Pennsylvania poll.
Okay, something else. 99 for 2. Talk about the PA poll. That Pennsylvania poll's bullshit. All right.
It's actually an improvement from their last poll by 3%.
I want to bring up this map because listen, I understand that these are crosstabs and you're going to have larger margin of errors, but what this poll is claiming, I don't care if you have large subgroups, whatever, fine. All right, you would have a margin of error. That's one thing. But the swings this poll is claiming, that's beyond.
That's big news.
Big news. That's beyond the margin of error excuse.
That's the Beyond Burger.
It was by Susquehanna, right? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, Susquehanna.
Now, they're not a bad pollster, but I'm really starting to wonder about them because look at this map. All right, places like Allegheny County, Philly, Trump has some improvements there, but look at northwestern PA. Trump won this area by 22. According to them, Biden would win this region by almost 40 points.
Big if true.
Trump, and look at southwestern Pennsylvania, just the western half as a whole. They have swinging the Biden by like 20, 30 points. If it wasn't for that, Trump would be ahead in this poll. That's why I think that this poll, again, especially polls that have like 500 people that took it, you can't, how can you release this poll? Like, fine, subgroups have margin of errors, fine, but you're telling me no one looked at the northwestern part of the state and realized, hey, wait a minute, we're claiming a 70-point shift is going to happen? Oh, man.
I don't know. They had a good track record in 2020, and that was kind of it. They bungled in 22 out of PA. I believe they were an Oz +2 pollster.
Oh, boy.
And while that, like, I know, like, in context, that doesn't sound great, but, like, having that big of an error, like, in itself is just, like, really bad. Especially in a state that, like, historically underestimates Trump by, like, 5 points.
You know, I mean, you just can't release this. You know, it's one of those polls where it's like, obviously they had a bad sample. I'm not saying they faked it. That no one's claiming that, but at some point it's like,
they faked it. They rigged it, obviously.
No, they didn't. No, I'm just saying, like, you can make, like, I think what happened was they pulled too much of, like, Erie.
They had big news.
And they overstated it way too much, and they forgot, like, the Republican parts of that region. Prince Rider for 2 or 5. Barris poll. Biden leads Trump by 2 in PA, but it's landlines only. He hasn't gotten to text and online. Really? Aren't online polls Trump's best poll, usually?
Yeah.
And he's already up by 2 with landlines. Okay, it's
Biden up by 2 in
Trump
a Barris poll?
Yeah, Biden up by 2 in PA.
Wow, that's interesting.
But only
that doesn't
landlines.
Okay, well, I know it's premature, but that's interesting considering how he also had Trump up by 7 in the popular vote.
Yeah, I mean, it's even though every poll I've noticed this, Pennsylvania's been stubborn this cycle. I've noticed that. Not as bad. I mean, what?
I genuinely just like, I'm at a point where I'm not too trusting of Barris as a pollster when it comes to like these kind of state polls. I mean, but we'll see where it goes.
2020 was spot and 2022 was, yeah, there's definitely some bad misses.
But yeah, he was good for I believe the national vote, but for states he kind of
what happened was he didn't do like final polls, so that's why his like a poll from 2 months prior was his final. So polite rude guy for 5. They could start World War III, postpone the election, or have Biden never leave the White House. I mean, I guess, but I think if Trump just wins by a lot, they're just gonna say whatever. It's over. Nothing ever happens.
Yeah, they're gonna doom.
Yeah, I just think that they're running out of options. I mean, the whole strategy was lawfare, and they don't got that. Their cases are falling apart. Are not going to happen till next year. So who cares? Let's see here. You don't understand. Erie will vote for Biden 97%, Biden 2%, or Trump 2%, Kennedy 1%. That's real. Does anyone remember when ABC predicted Biden would win Wisconsin by 17? Yeah, I remember that well.
I remember when Obama Biden won Wisconsin by 17.
Oh, no, it wasn't 17, it was 10, I thought.
I thought it was 17 in 08.
No, that's Michigan.
Oh, my bad.
Wisconsin was 14.
Oh, okay.
Michigan was 17. So, but it's like, when you have polls like this, at some point, just don't release it. If you have this, you better damn well have, like, a large sample size, not 2 people in that region. That's apparently what happened. So, let's see. Hey, Rap, I have a feeling that Lichtman Keys are going to fail this election because of 2 presidents running against each other and a major third party running. Yeah, the 13 keys, I think, are worthless this cycle.
There's nothing to like gauge the border crisis impact in the 13 keys.
Yeah.
Okay, so for those who I feel like I should mention this to the chat since this is actually going to impact my my available on the stream. I'm enlisting with the Texas Army National Guard, so I will be gone for a few months, more or less. But when I was talking to my recruiter about this, he said that the Texas Army National Guard were actually above their quotas for enlistments because of the fact that Texans are enlisting with the Army and Air Force National Guard to get the border built. So like, would you? Because one of the biggest talking points right now with the military is that it's experiencing, one of the biggest talking points with the military is that we're experiencing a recruitment crisis. But then, like, I hear that with the Texas Army National Guard, and I'm thinking people just aren't joining the federal government branch of the military
No, they're
simply
not.
because the leadership is dog shit. But like if it's a state level National Guard like Texas or something like I'm willing to bet like Florida, or like if it's a
Or
state
like
guard,
Arizona, something.
I guarantee you that's where everybody's going, because it makes total sense. Texas, which accounts for like 11% of total enlisted troops in the army, is like the state guards, like the National Guard's experiencing a massive surge, but like the federal army's dried up. Like people aren't not joining; people are just joining their state level guard simply because it's safer than going to die in forever wars, and they'd rather build the fucking wall. Which, by the way, my ass is down there if they start doing that, and I'm
Yeah,
enlisted.
I think that's what's happening. Like people, like they're willing to serve, but they're not going to serve for clowns like Biden.
People are not going to fucking serve if it comes down to the fact that you're going to die in a forever war and you're not actually defending your homeland. Men who want to serve, men who are ready to die for their country aren't going to die for useless reasons.
Yeah.
But there are men who are willing to fight and die and build for their state if they're doing it for a noble cause. And in that case, this noble cause is the fucking border crisis.
Yeah, and speaking of the 13 keys, I do want to touch upon this, and if for those that don't know, the 13 keys since like '84, it's been a model used by, I think Alan Lichtman, his name is, to predict the presidency. It's been accurate, but I'm not trusting this here. There's two reasons why. One, the 13 keys has never been put through this type of election. I mean, when was the last time you had two presidents running and they both won their party's nomination?
Prince Ryder for 5 to anyone who isn't claiming against early. By the way, this is not the normal election with a president versus an unknown challenger. This is 2 presidents with records.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Prince Ryder. But yeah, the problem with the 13 keys this cycle is, one, we've never had this type of election before. We have, well, I think it was 18 something, 18.
Yeah, it was literally the 1880s. That's
Yeah.
like 150 years ago.
That was way before the modern election. But number two, Alan Lichtman has lost his freaking mind. This guy, he wrote a book saying, we need to abolish the Second Amendment.
Yeah, just genius.
Now, the 13 Keys was right in 2016, but the guy has gone off a freaking cliff. He has lost his mind. I mean, he is saying, he's now changed his model. Back in 2016, he went both ways. Like, he talked to one crowd, yeah, Trump's going to win the election. The other crowd, well, actually, hold on. Hillary Clinton is going to be the next president. So he was never wrong because he gave two different predictions. And in 2020, in 2020, he just thought that Trump was going to crush in a landslide. Most people did. And he said, oh, well, Trump's going to lose. And he barely lost.
Schizophrenia.
Yeah. Polite rude guy for 2. Texas needs to use the Second Amendment to stop the invasion.
Oh, you have absolutely no fucking idea how many people in the state of Texas are ready to go and like build that shit. Like myself included. If Trump becomes president while I'm in the National Guard and he announces we're deploying the Texas Army National Guard to build the wall, I am postponing all my fucking college aspirations for a year or 2 to get down there and build it with my goddamn hands. I'm fucking serious.
All right, so I do want to bring up the 13 keys because they have had a clear definition for years, and this Bose was changed it because it fit his narrative. He's so mad that Orange Man might actually win. Like, okay, the first one was midterm gains. This just means if the opposing party gains House seats, they get the key rights. And I think you need the incumbent can only lose 7 or 6 keys. Yeah, when 6 or more are false, the incumbent party is predicted to lose. No primary contest. Obviously,
the Biden +5 poll increased Trump's lead on Real Clear Politics.
I think, yeah, I saw that. But yeah, so primary contest, Biden didn't really have that. He had Dean Phillips, but Biden's obviously seeking re-election. Now this is where things get real ridiculous. According to Lichtman, there's no major.
Hey, Rep's in the chat.
What?
Yeah, Rep isn't ready.
Ready
in the
politics
chat.
in the chat. What's up? Susquehanna polls trash, but it still gave Trump a leg up in the aggregate. Really?
Yeah,
That's
he's
pathetic.
up by 1 now.
That's pathetic. But yeah, so according to Lichtman, there's no third party this cycle. There's no major third party candidate. Because his reasoning is, well, RFK is going to hurt Trump more than Biden. So he can't be a third party. No, there's no third party that's going to hurt the incumbent.
Chat, stop simping for Red Eagle in the chat. This isn't his stream. This is my stream. Rap just happens to host it.
Oh yeah.
This is the Tyrone show now.
Tyrone show. Yes, totally the Tyrone show. Let's see here. So according to Lichtman, there's no third party. The economy, that's questionable. The problem with the economy is
It's not run by Democrats.
Well, have we ever had an economy like this where, according to metrics he uses, it's going fine? But this is the first time ever where you're seeing everyone saying the economy sucks. But the metrics on paper should say, well, actually, this means that it's true. Let's see here. Major policy change, whatever. Social unrest, whatever. No scandal. You can say what you want. But according to Lichtman, Biden has had no foreign policy disasters. And he's in fact had a foreign policy success. He said what's happening in Ukraine is a success for Biden.
Genuinely, it's just moronic thinking, frankly.
Again, this stuff makes sense, but A, it's too objective. I mean, or subjective, I should say. I mean, a lot of this stuff, it's like, how do you quantify a scandal? How do you quantify foreign policy disasters? You know, it's like, there's some positives to this, but it's like overall a joke. The whole thing that he's doing is this, he changes mind every 5 seconds because Orange Man bad. That's what it comes down to. Alright. He's down 8 on Ukraine. Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah.
No, Trump is down by 8 in Ukraine. Nikki Haley's leading the primary there.
Lord. But no, according to Lichtman, Biden has had no foreign policy disaster and a bunch of successes. But he didn't give Trump any foreign policy successes back in 2020. He said the Abraham Accords didn't count. It's like, what? That's not a success. But somehow Biden's disaster in Afghanistan isn't a disaster? Whatever. It's one of those things where he's changed his mind 15 times already because he just doesn't want to have Trump winning.
Yeah, they don't want Trump to win.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
You know, and that's why I'm saying 13 keys is fine to look at, but we've reached a point where he changes definitions so much. How can you use it? Not just slight adjustments. He's flat out changed it because it would have Orange Man winning. His original book, and you can go look it up. According to the original definitions, Trump would win. But he's changed it so much, you don't even know. Can this be the?
You know, Trump's up by 8 at Toyotathon. Go and get your Toyota now.
Totally not sponsored by Toyota. Yeah, that's real.
We would love to be sponsored by Toyota,
No.
wouldn't we?
The Tyrone Accords. Oh, good lord.
No one's going to base their vote on Lichtman's Keys model. Yeah, that's the thing most people need to understand. People are not going to change their voting patterns based on one thing or another with an online poll. Like, people know who they're going to fucking vote for going into this election.
Yeah, this is one of those times where those models that traditionally have used, you really can't this time. Let's see here. I love how he pretends he was wrong in 2000. Yeah.
Oh God, Red Lion's here. Oh, great.
But no, according to Lichtman, he got 2000 right. He predicted Gore was going to win. And he said till this day he's right. He was never wrong.
Buy a Toyota Helix for a regime change on a budget. So true. We're going to sub-Saharan Africa, boys.
Oh, good lord. Let's see. Trump is winning new voters and taking voters from Biden. Yeah, you just can't look at what's happening right now and say, well, the 13 keys are going to be spot on this cycle. It's like...
Well, the 13 keys are going to be completely off this cycle.
I think that should be embarrassingly wrong. Because he's basically saying that he can change whoever he wants. It doesn't matter. So... Toyota, let's go to the Middle East. Oh man.
I should invade Mexico.
No.
Oh, I'm playing Victoria too. Sorry.
He said
I'm
Gore
playing
would win, and he thinks he's right. No, to this day, he still thinks Gore won. He still thinks he was right about that. So he just copes about it.
Look, you can't take any of these people seriously when they say, "Oh, Gore won" or whatnot. When these are the same fucking people who say Trump didn't win 2020 and that it was a legitimate election are also the same people who swear up and down that that Abrams lost her election because of election interference and like voter harassment or something like that. I don't know the exact term. I don't give a shit about their exact terms.
Barris poll. Trump has his entire base from 2020, but Biden has major fractures. That's where you learned. That's when leaned would vote for him. Okay, so
no way.
Biden has some problems. If Biden continues to have these base problems, I mean, we're in March now, almost April. At some point, some people got to realize that he's not winning these voters back. I mean, what's going to happen? Oh, suddenly in the last second, these voters realize we were wrong and that we must support good old Joe. Is that what's going to happen?
No one fucking supported Joe.
The 11th hour, suddenly people realize they were wrong with their voting habits, and now they're going to support. Oh man.
Not to change the subject, but I'm just curious where you heard about the Barris PA poll.
I'm guessing locals on his locals page. That's what we were saying.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Trump has base problems too. Many Haley's voters won't support him. Okay. Should I go on this tangent again? Okay. So.
My name is Dan.
Good Lord. So, we know this for a fact from South Carolina, Michigan, and I believe it was New Hampshire exit polling. Half of Haley voters voted for Biden in 2020. Half. And all of them, even against Nikki Haley, said they would vote for Joe Biden. Go look at the CNN interviews. Yeah, I'm a progressive Democrat that's supporting Nikki Haley to screw with Trump. But if Haley's the nominee, I will support Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I'm sure that these voters are Republicans. They're not. And these voters that we're seeing in, like, say, Ohio, where Haley got like 12%, those were early votes. When election day votes came in, it was like 98% Trump. So he doesn't have a base problem. Plus, every poll we have seen so far this cycle has Trump winning basically every 2020 voter that he had. While Biden is losing a big chunk of them. Undecided, but even a couple of them are voting for Trump now.
Yeah, Riz used to get it in Ohio.
Let's see here. Rap. Gore did win in 2000. Bush got his brother Jeb to help him. No. That's not what happened. People gotta look into it. I think it was the Washington Post. They were adamant for years that that's what happened. They conducted like an audit, I believe. They paid for it, and they actually showed Bush's lead expanded.
Oh yeah, no, that's what happened.
Or yeah, it was something crazy because people forget that the reason the recount never happened because Gore's people wanted a recount in like Palm Beach and that's it. They wanted in specific counties. That's why it never went through. Let's see here. Awesome Lego 3000 for 5. Hey man, just want to say you are doing some great work with all your videos and streams. Keep up the good stuff and keep fighting the good fight. Thank you, good sir. Thank you. Try my best. Trump doesn't need to worry about winning over MAGA conservatives. He needs to focus on winning new voters like independents and disaffected Democrats. Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to win enough of them where he's going to win the presidency. Look what's happening in Michigan. You cannot tell me that's a fluke. He's up by 7.
What's happening? Yeah, no, I think Michigan's probably going to be like... Michigan's going to be one of the states that swings to the harder to the right than the rest of the country.
Yeah, and to be clear, that doesn't mean that, you know, he's going to win like...
Hey, what's up, Yay?
And Yay actually joined.
But
yeah,
did
you know that? Hey, Yay, did you know that Riz used to get it in Ohio?
Good lord.
I did actually, dude. Riz used to get it in Ohio. I have a class in about 5 or 10 minutes. I figured I'd just pop in and say hello. What's the discussion?
So we were just talking about Michigan and why Trump's going to win Michigan easy, I think. Well, compared to past elections, I think he's going to win it.
He's going to win Michigan easily because the rurals were not even remotely maxed out in 2020, and the only other big Democrat voting bloc in Michigan are black voters who either aren't going to show up or are going to shift slightly towards Trump.
Yeah.
It's really that simple.
Same with Arabs.
Yeah, Arab Americans are pissed at Biden right now. They're like 3% of the population in Michigan.
And here's another thing. Last year, I'm talking 2023. In 2022, Kent County, Michigan, which is Grand Rapids, only voted for abortion by 10 points. So that's probably the county's ceiling. And there are going to be pro-abortion Trump voters because that's kind of how the Republican Party works at this point. So if Biden's not winning Michigan, if he's not winning Grand Rapids, Kent County by like 10 points, he's not going to win Michigan.
That's a real good point. I completely forgot about that. I mean, it voted right of the state by like 5 points, whatever it was.
Republicans found the ceiling in Kent County, and it's D plus 10, which not great. You don't want to lose the county by 10 points, but you can afford to if you do well enough in the rural areas, as long as you don't go anything past that.
Let's see here. So the reason that why black vote looks bad is only because of crosstabs. I originally thought that, but at some point it's like, okay, if every poll is showing like a 20-point shift, that's not a one-off occurrence. When you have CNN, Harvard, Harris, every poll, even with Biden getting closer, they still had Trump getting a large share of black voters. That's not a fluke. It's a trend. And it wasn't just like 1 month he suddenly got that. It was been a slow improvement for 4 years now. So.
And there was a poll that came out a couple days ago. It said that
a while ago, parenthesis 2 days.
28% of black voters disapprove of Biden's presidency, and 40% of them approve of Trump's.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Trump's going to get 28% of the black vote, but I would not be surprised if he gets closer to 15 to 20, all things considered. And the Democrat Party cannot win nationwide, in this current coalition at least. They cannot win nationwide if they're not winning close to 90% of black voters. It's not possible, because then you're losing Georgia, and you're losing North Carolina, and you're doing worse than Michigan and Pennsylvania, because those are the states that have a significant black population.
And the funny thing is, that would probably destroy the VRA districts. It would be funny if that backfired.
Oh, dude, I cannot. I cannot wait until that. It's like a Biden plus 12 county in rural black Alabama eventually flips in like 5 or 6 years, and then they have to redraw it again because the VRA no longer applies to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen. And these idiots think that, African Americans are not.
It's not gonna happen. What are you talking about? Nothing ever happens.
Nothing ever happens. Yeah, exactly. What I will say about that seat though, that new Alabama seat, it's like what? I think it's like Biden plus 12. I think it voted for Kay Ivey narrowly, but it did vote for the Senate candidate Dem. There is a pretty, I wouldn't say he's like a relatively strong Republican. He's like a former black football player. He's like Herschel Walker, but without the CTI. What is it called?
CTE.
Yeah, CTE, sorry. So he's like Herschel Walker without the CTE or the constant abortion scandal. So we'll see how he actually does this November, because I'm pretty sure he is the nominee in that seat, if I remember correctly.
Well, if Trump does 20 points 20 points better with black voters, I could see that being a lot closer than people expect.
He wouldn't do 20 points. He got what, like 13 or 14% in 2020, or like 12, 10? I don't know. It wasn't very much at all, depending on what exit poll you look at. He's going to have to get closer to 20%. That's still only an 8-point shift, because that voting block is not swingable. What is swingable, and I'm not going to go full fucking, Latexan on you, is 60% of Hispanics disapprove of Biden's presidency, and almost 70% approve of Trump's. So, I'm just saying, it's a possibility. Things do happen. Things can happen. We'll have to see, though. Nothing ever happens. I just think.
Nothing ever happens, you foolish bastard.
Let's see here. Hey, Tyrone, if the states of Oregon and Washington rebel against the Trump administration, should we use the post-Civil War state suicide theory to split those states and give Eastern Washington, Oregon, and Southwest Oregon their own states?
No, because
I think we should just nuke Portland preemptively.
I think that splitting states is a generally poor idea, personally. And if you want to deal with a state and deal with troublesome demographics, that's an extremely vague statement. I'm not thinking of anyone in specific, and I'm being dead serious. So nobody fucking start accusing me of anything there. if you're trying to deal with troublesome demographics and dissenting groups, just fucking put the cities under martial law. No, like, don't split Oregon in half. Don't try to create like the state of Jefferson. Just fucking put suburban and urban Portland under martial law and
Really clean
fucking
it
deal
up.
with the community from there. Yeah, just clean that fucking shit up, and the state will act normal.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. What's been happening is like these cities have completely abandoned law and order. Now they're wondering, hey, why are cops quitting? Oh, why is this happening? It's like, yeah, I wonder why.
Rap, not to change the subject, but that Susquehanna poll that had Biden up by 5 only has Casey up by 6.
Exactly. That's why I
What
throw
is
in the
it?
garbage. That's not gonna happen. A 1
But
point.
it does bring up a larger trend that we've seen, though, specifically with Emerson, that the Senate candidates are slowly starting to catch up to Trump on the Republican side.
That's true.
Which means we're gonna see guys like Xi catch up.
Yeah, I think she's gonna pull it off barely. But
Yeah,
I think does.
unfortunately.
Moreno's gonna win. I think kind of easy compared to what people originally expected. I think he wins.
Did you see Brian's video on Eric Hode?
Yeah,
Hovde?
He's the surprise of the year.
Is he actually good? Like, is he good? Good?
I think he's gonna be a Ron Johnson type. I think.
Okay, so he's just gonna be good.
Yeah, it's one of those things where he's just a good campaigner. That's his big thing. Like, he surprised everyone with that. I mean, I thought he was gonna be like some generic like boomer con from like 1980 or something. No, he's actually good. He's campaigning. He actually like is seen as like a normal dude, not pretending to be a fake. So,
No way, Wisconsin youngkin.
Wisconsin youngkin. Plus the mustache. That alone will help him.
Mustache man, leader.
Yes. Totally real. Okay. Anyways, folks, if you got any more super chats or more questions, concerns, begin sending them now. Because we're gonna begin the last calls for that stuff because we kind of went over everything. I am surprised though, like, Trump got some big wins today. I'm surprised with the polling. I cannot believe what we're seeing. You know, at some point, I really can't. You know, you go back to 2020 or 2021, it would have been insane to say what we're seeing right now. Trump winning the popular vote, his favorability going back up, Biden just flat out in collapse mode. A lot of stuff going on that I thought was never going to happen. I thought Trump was going to win, but it would have been down the wire. Now it's like, who knows what happens this year?
I've been predicting this since the fall of 2021.
Well, I mean, I know what happens. Nothing ever happens.
Nothing ever
Like
happens.
as soon as Biden's approval began to collapse, like after the Afghanistan withdrawal.
What's the polling in Maryland Senate like?
He's up by Hogan. Hogan's up by like 15, I think.
We'll see how long it lasts.
Yeah, but I think if they have that shit show or primary and Olsa Brooks wins, I think he's got it.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, the fundamentals are just so hard to beat.
I know, that's the problem. It's such a Democrat state, but there's one Republican that would win. That would be Hogan. So
yeah, it'd be the equivalent to like Joe Manchin, like winning re-election.
Yeah. I think it's possible. Democrats have such a bad primary going on. Now with what David Trone said. Yeah, not fun.
It'll be pretty funny if Hogan manages to pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, either way, Democrats.
Hogan's running for Republican, right?
What? Yeah, he's Republican. Yeah, he's running as Republican. Which I thought he should run as independent, make a deal with Republicans. Like, hey.
Yeah, he could probably pull that off if he just ran as an Indy.
Yeah, but then, because I think they were worried that some clown was going to stay in and just run as Republican and split the vote up.
I mean, I'm going to be real. I fully expect Trump to spitefully endorse Hogan towards the end of the stretch just to tank his campaign because he doesn't like him. But
I think he just stays out of the race.
Maybe. But I don't know. I know they have bad blood. Like, I have a hunch that Hogan is going to say some shit like he doesn't endorse Trump, and Trump's going to get pissed and then endorse him, or say don't vote for him or something along those lines.
I think he Trump and Hogan like made a truce, I guess, behind the scenes.
All right. Well,
like,
I hope
a close one, like one that's not like, okay, I'm not gonna support you, but we just don't say anything about each other, and that's it. Call it a day.
Yeah, if he does that, then he might be okay, but we'll see.
Let's see here. Rapid prediction: North Carolina's governor's race. I think, yeah, Robinson's in a good situation. I just think a Trump wins to say by 4 or 5. Robinson should hold on. We just gotta see.
Yeah, I agree.
Breaking.
I think
New York Dems trying to impeach judge who lowered Trump's bond. I don't believe that. I highly doubt that.
That's hilarious.
However, we do got breaking news. House Republicans starting to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress. Breaking news. Nothing ever happens. Like, they're gonna say this and do absolutely nothing for 5 months, and they might do something later. Fun. You know, it's one of those things where, I don't know. French writer for 2. Murkowski about to go independent, by the way. Yeah, Murkowski's McConnell's biggest mistake was that. I mean, why did he ever do that? Why?
He's fighting Trump.
I know, but it's like, you could have gotten a
The
real
Republican,
Republican.
the Alaska Republican Party needs to immediately call for her to be recalled and hold an election, because her going independent is a nullification of Alaskans' votes in 2022.
Can they actually do that?
I don't know, but they should absolutely set up a system to do that if they can.
I think that, yeah, I think there should be a recall system. Like, there's no reason for there not to be. I mean, if you're gonna flip the independent or something like that, you should be held accountable. Like, okay, no, you can't just flip to independent. You gotta be held and responsible for that. Like, you get thrown out. If Moreno beats Brown, Ohio Dems are gonna lose their minds. Yeah, I think Moreno does win. I think he's gonna do good enough in northwestern part of the state to hold on, or northeastern. Toast, you wouldn't support a Democrat like RFK and Rand Paul wouldn't commit political suicide. Yeah, you're not. RFK's not picking Rand Paul or Tulsi Gabbard. That's not going to happen.
He's gonna. I'm pretty sure they're drafting some progressive.
Yeah.
By the way, for anyone who doesn't, so like anyone who dislikes Hogan, yeah, I fucking hate Hogan too. But I do think it would be funny if Hogan won, and at the very least with Hogan, he'll take a principled stand on rejecting Democrat finance bullshit. So I do think Hogan's going to be better than any Democrat you could put up.
Well,
but don't start thinking he's going to be like this great fucking guy.
No, he's
he's
not.
only going to be good for a few things.
He's be like
But I do
40%
endorse.
Republican, I think.
Yeah, I do think that ultimately him being in the Senate's better because, you know.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about Hogan is like he's an actual moderate. It's not like a freaking.
Yeah, it's not like he's fucking Nikki Haley.
Yeah, you know, he's an actual moderate. So, and plus he's actually kind of pro-life considering. So,
Problem with the Senate being close.
The thing with Hogan is that like he does his best when it comes to dealing with what do you call it? He does his best when it comes to dealing with what he can, and he is relatively pro-life and pro-gun. But you know, he was the fucking governor of Maryland, so what was he gonna?
Yeah,
so I do think that if they were gonna, I do think if Democrats were gonna try to force any firearms bullshit in, we could probably count on Hogan for. Well, I mean, if he goes for like bipartisan gun control, maybe not. But if they just try to do a blatant assault rifle ban, Hogan will come through.
Well, the thing about Hogan is like he's gonna vote with us like 40% of the time, and for Maryland, will take it. You know, it's like okay, 40% of the time better than Trone at 99%.
Yeah, like we definitely need a decent sized Senate majority because if we only end up with like 52,
we have to freaking Collins and Murkowski.
Yeah, Collins with re-election, she's gonna go liberal. Murkowski's gonna always Murkowski Hogan. That's already putting us at like 49. If we only have 52 seats.
Yeah, and that's
which is why I really dislike. I like you, Yeet. I like you're my brother, man. But like, I do really disagree with the whole let the like really bad candidates or like mediocre candidates sink whole. The whole fucking 48 Vances in the Senate versus 52 Murkowskis. I mean, at least one of them's a functioning Senate majority.
Prince Ryder for 5. It's November 9th. Trump has won with 300 electoral votes and GOP has gained Ohio, with West Virginia, Nevada, and Wisconsin in the Senate. But Dems have taken the House. What's your reaction? Not
I mean,
surprised.
I don't think Dems are taking the House.
Well, it's one of those things where if Dems take the House, I don't know. I just don't think, like, if Trump wins, I don't think they get the House. I think Trump just carries them just enough.
Coattails.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason, and they're gonna blame Trump for, we barely kept the House because of Orange Man. It's like, just shut up. Like, at some point, he just shut the hell up about, the Orange Man caused us. Like, he single-handedly carried you clowns over the hump. Shut up. Let's see,
Unrelated, does anyone here play Blue Archive? Like, chat, sound off if you play Blue Archive.
I don't know. Actually breaking. Trump hush money trial scheduled for April 15th. Okay. So April 15th, that's Trump's next trial. That's probably not going to go anywhere. That's Bragg's case. So. Hey, don't spread fake news in chat. Don't do that. Biden's not resigning. Stop it. It's fake. Fake news.
Fake news, you're fake news.
All right, last calls for super chats, everyone. I think we're probably gonna end the stream here. If you guys did enjoy the stream, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. So, there's a lot to wait for this cycle, but I think Trump's in a good situation. Not saying that he's 100% gonna win, but I just see these people that say they had zero shot of win. Like, you're just nuts. You actually believe that crap. I think Trump is a favorite based on every metric.
Yeah, I'm a fucking weeb. What about it, chat? Get fucked. I'm in here and you're not. You have to pay money to get Rap to shout you out. I talk to him daily. You can't see it, but I just dabbed on you nerds.
Bruh. What do you mean by that?
Breaking, Ron Johnson endorses Rap for Wisconsin's 8th.
Real.
Is this real, chat?
Is this real? No, for real. Roger Roth for Congress. He's our best option, that seat. Because I don't want to deal with, what's the guy's name? Browski?
Browski, something like that. Yeah.
I'm
What
not
the
against him.
fuck is happening in Wisconsin? Can you
Okay. So Mike Gallagher is being a clown. That's way to
Yeah,
put
I saw
it.
I don't know why the fuck Gallagher's resigning. Do you?
Because he's just mad that frickin' he wants to screw the GOP over. Here's what's really going on.
I thought he was like our base nominee.
So
potential.
he's throwing a hissy fit because the base told him you better vote to impeach Mayorkas. And he got mad and he voted no. And then, as a big FU, he's resigning after April 2nd, which means Republicans cannot fill that seat until November. That's what he's doing.
Incredible.
He just
And the worst part is there are going to be people who will find a way to blame this on Ron Johnson or Mike Johnson.
Yeah, blame it on Mike Johnson. It's like you can't blame that on him. Anyways, folks, we'll see you guys in the next stream video wherever you see me from.